When I decided to look for an apartment in Da Nang, I immediately chose the Mayan area. It's probably the most popular district among expats, and there are several reasons for that. Let's start with the location. The area is about 15 minutes from Da Nang Airport, and it lies along the coastal part of the city. If you look at the coastline map, you'll see that it's right in the middle, the very heart of the beach strip. Let's move on to the main reasons why I personally chose this neighbourhood. First, the beach, Mackay Beach. In my opinion, it's one of the most popular beaches in Da Nang. During the day, it's beautiful. Lots of people swimming, public showers and changing rooms right along the shore, plenty of places to sit or sunbathe. There are also many cafes where you can eat just a few steps from the sea, extremely convenient. The atmosphere is always lively. Tourists, locals, families, especially after 5 p.m. You can just walk around, people watch, or even meet someone new. It's a real beach vibe. In the evenings, locals, including many retirees, come here to dance or do group exercises. It creates a bright, positive feeling. So to me, this is one of the best beaches and waterfronts in all of Da Nang. Second, the Nthwang area. It's the most vibrant part of Mayan, known for its cafes, restaurants and international vibe. You can literally step out of your apartment and within a few minutes find a cozy coffee shop, a local eatery, or a restaurant that perfectly fits your mood. When I first moved here, I lived across the bridge in a more local part of the city, and back then I had to walk at least 15 minutes just to find one place to eat. Here you'll find all kinds of cuisines: Indian, Japanese, Korean, Russian, Turkish, and of course, Vietnamese. Not every district in Da Nang offers that kind of variety. And another reason why I really like this area, this is actually where I met my girlfriend. Third, the sense of safety and liveliness. Now, Da Nang overall is a very safe city. And to help you understand this better, let's look at the actual numbers. We'll compare the crime index based on Numbeo data. First, let's take a look at some of the most popular cities for expats in Southeast Asia. As you can see, Da Nang ranks as the safest city among them, even slightly ahead of Chiang Mai. Now, let's compare Da Nang with some of the world's major capitals. It's almost on the same level as Tokyo, but far ahead of other famous capitals like London, New York, or Madrid. And finally, let's see how Da Nang compares to the safest cities in the world. In this category, it actually ranks slightly safer than Tokyo, and gets very close to Zurich in terms of safety. It's behind cities like Dubai, Doha, and Abu Dhabi, which are considered among the safest on the planet. Now, let's put all the charts together and see the full picture. As you can see, Da Nang still stands out as a very safe city, holding a strong and respectable position among the world's most peaceful places. But what's important here is the feeling of safety. In this area, there are lots of hotels, cafes, and restaurants. Even at midnight, when you step outside, there are still people around. Taxi drivers, shop workers, security guards. Many stores stay open late. There's light, movement, and a constant presence of others. That's what creates that sense of comfort and safety. Overall, this area truly feels calm, friendly, and pleasant to live in. Now let's move on to how to actually find an apartment. There are 3 main ways, and I've personally used all 3. I recommend doing the same. Combine them to get the best result. First, through Facebook. You can use Facebook Marketplace. It's convenient with filters by price and plenty of listings. But be careful, there are many fake ads. If an apartment looks too cheap and too perfect in photos, it's probably a scam. Always check the profile of the person posting the listing. A real agent or landlord should have a genuine profile, with reviews preferably from foreign tenants. A decent studio in this area starts around 7 million dong per month, about $280. Sometimes you can find places for $200 or even $160, but those are usually far from the centre or in old damp buildings. Photos might look nice, but in reality there can be humidity, mould and dirt. The higher your budget, the better the conditions you'll get. Once you find a good option, contact the agent, arrange a viewing, and if everything fits, sign the contract. Common rental terms are 3 months or 1 year. Some may agree to a 1-month stay, but in that case, the price will be higher. Second, walk around and search in person. This method is simple. Go to the area you're interested in and explore it on foot. Go inside apartment buildings or hotels and ask directly. If it's an apartment building and the owner is often not on site, but near the entrance there's usually a note with contact details, a WhatsApp or Zalo number. If it's a hotel-style apartment, during the day before 5 p.m, you'll usually find someone at reception. You can simply ask if they rent rooms by the month. Even regular hotels often offer monthly stays at good rates. I personally found options starting from 8 million dong per month, about $320. The main advantage of this method is that you immediately see the location, the building, the neighborhood, and you inspect the apartment in person. The downside, it takes time and walking. Sometimes you might not find the owner or contact note, but this method truly works. And in the third part of the video, I'll show you some hotels and apartments I found exactly this way. The third method is searching through Telegram, specifically through a verified agent named Ken. When I first came to Da Nang, a fellow expat who's been living here for several years recommended him to me. The first thing I liked was clarity. Ken has a Telegram channel with real up-to-date listings, with photos, prices, addresses and locations. Everything is organised and easy to navigate, unlike the chaos you often see on Facebook. The second, reliability. Ken doesn't post fake listings. He personally checks the apartments. He communicates directly with landlords, so the chance of being scammed is basically zero. The third, convenience. If you want a personalised search, you can message him directly. That's what I usually do. I send him my area, budget and preferences. For example, balcony, proximity to the beach. When he finds a suitable place, he sends photos and videos, arranges a viewing, and helps with the contract. It's all very convenient. Most of the work is done for you, and it is completely free. Ken doesn't take any commission from tenants. He's paid by the landlords. As I said earlier, I never relied on just one method, and you shouldn't either. Da Nang is a big city, and Ken simply can't cover every neighbourhood or every listing. So if possible, combine all three methods. That way your chances of finding the perfect apartment will be much higher. Alright friends, now to wrap everything up, let me show you a real example, how I applied all these methods in practice and found my own apartment. First, setting the criteria. I defined clear criteria for myself. Budget, up to 7.5 million dong, which is about $300 per month. Area, My An, but I was open to nearby neighbourhoods if a good option appeared. Layout, a separate bedroom and a separate kitchen. Once everything was clear, I messaged Ken, the same agent I'd worked with before. I described my conditions and the time frame. Ken replied that he would start searching and send me suitable options. Second, searching through Facebook. At the same time, I began searching on my own through Facebook Marketplace. I set filters, up to 7.5 million dong, Mayan area. The first agent I found was a woman who posted listings regularly. I checked her profile. It had real reviews from foreign tenants, which is always a good sign, because there are a lot of fake accounts. We exchanged a few messages, and it was immediately clear she was a real agent. She sent me several options. One of them looked nice, clean apartment, but no separate kitchen. I kept it as a backup option, in case I didn't find anything better. She kept sending new listings. You could tell she was trying. But in the end, none of them were a perfect fit. Next, the walking method, one of my favourites. I only had one day, just a couple of hours because I was busy with work. Since I already knew the area well, I planned my route in advance and simply walked through the streets. Whenever I saw a sign like room for rent or apartment available, I took a photo of the number and messaged on WhatsApp. Some people replied quickly, others a few hours later. The first option I saw was 7 million dong, about $280. The apartment was small but had a large balcony and a great location. If I lived alone, I'd take it without hesitation, but with my girlfriend it would have been too tight. The second place was also 6 million dong, looked good in photos, had a pool and a small rooftop gym. But when I visited, the condition was worse than expected. Once again, it proved the rule. You always need to check places in person, no matter how you found them. In one day, I collected about 5 to 6 contacts. I visited 2 apartments. 2 were too expensive, 11 and 12 million dong, or $440 and $480, and a couple of people replied later when I had already found my place. So I can confidently say, walking works. Even 1 or 2 days of this can give you plenty of real options. Searching through Ken sent me many listings. I won't list them all. I'll just talk about the ones I viewed. First option, 5.5 million dong, about $220. Looked perfect in photos. Clean studio, tidy, everything fine. But in reality, dark, small windows, humid air. okay for a short stay, not for long-term living. Second option, 7 million dong, $280. Separate bedroom, kitchen, good furniture, but the entire front wall was a glass door. That immediately put me off. Third option, 7.5 million dong, $300, sunny side, spacious, neat, but always hot, even with AC. Fourth option, 7.5 million dong, same price, good interior. But right across the balcony, a construction site. Noise, dust, no privacy. I declined. Fifth option, 5 million dong, $200. Separate kitchen and bedroom, but damp, musty, heavy air. Ruled out instantly. And finally, the one I chose, 7.3 million dong, about $292 per month. The best part, a local market nearby where I buy fruits and food. When I came for the viewing, the previous tenants hadn't moved out yet. The place was messy. But I immediately felt it was right. Separate bedroom, separate kitchen, large balcony, quiet building, clean surroundings. After I decided that the apartment was right for me, I moved on to the rental process. First, I paid about $80 as a deposit to secure the apartment. The next day, when I moved in and signed the contract, I paid another $290. 1 month's rent in advance plus a security deposit equal to 1 month's rent. But since I had already paid $80 before, I only needed to add about $210 more. And that's all for today, my friends. I tried to make this video as clear and practical as possible. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. That way I'll know it was helpful.